back, family. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, got the team with you. You feeling good, living better. Life is good.
Life is great.
Did you get the Life is Good reference?
Yes, I did.
You know the song?
No, I don't know the song.
Working on the weekend, like usual.
No, I missed it.
Way off in the deep end, like usual. Hit it where they passed us. They doing too much. Haven't done my taxes. I'm too turned up. Virgil got a paddock on my wrist going nuts. No?
No.
You don't know that Drake song?
No.
Oh my God. This guy. Alright, nonetheless, welcome back to the podcast, people. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 42. And we're excited to be here. But as always, need you to do a couple things. First things first. Go down, drop a 5-star review. 5-star. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button down below. And last but certainly not least, do me a favor and hit that little share button and send this episode to a friend. How you doing, Dad?
I think you should put that plural. Friends. Share.
Oh, put that plural?
Friends. Yes.
Got you. All right. So, the old man here said y'all need to go on and send that to friends. Multiple. Many. I'm going to leave you alone. Hold on. But
No, because like I'm grateful to be called old. Because we know too many people don't make it to be old anymore.
That's true. But while we on the subject of you, you got that Ralph on, dog. I see you. You look like you got the West Coast collection on.
West Coast.
Up here, you up here dressed like Snoop Dogg. I'm just waiting for you to put your Converse on and start crip walking up in this.
Converse day's over.
What you got on today? Oh, you got those high top Reebok classics.
Yes, they are.
There was a time in my life where I wanted some Reebok classics. I'm glad. I'm a Nike guy, but
I'm really a Nike guy too.
I don't know if I've ever seen. It's been years since I've seen some high top Reebok classics. Where you get those from?
I get them from
Alfred.
No, where do I get these from? Snickerville?
Yeah, DTLR or whatever they calling it these days.
Yeah. No, you know what? Actually, I buy them because they come in solid colors. Like it's hard for me sometimes to find plain white sneakers and plain black sneakers.
Gotcha. Yo, so as always, you know what I like to do. I like to hear about. You got any highlights from this past week? If you tell me nothing again, I might have to.
Well, you know, my highlight is always waking up. That's the highlight of life.
You're boring.
Well,
I mean, that's a great highlight, though. I'm not gonna downplay that, but you don't got a life. You told me you had a life before.
You know what? My life now is not having a life like I had before.
All right. I get past. All right, you want to know my highlight from this week?
What's that?
My dogs went back to training. I was excited. I was up there, right? So, for y'all that don't know, I have 2 dogs, Jake and Logan. Jake's about 3. Logan will be 1 in another month. And had some good times with them. Those my sons, right? But their weakness is walking, in the sense that they try to pull you down the street, just be all over the place. So they graduated from the puppy beginner class, and now they're in puppy high school, we gonna call it, right? So we got a great trainer, shout out to Debbie, but now we're working on things that got to do with when you walking them down the street. So like when he goes and is trying to sniff something or go to chase something, I'll be like, yo, leave it, return, and my man gonna come right back by my side. And they've been doing pretty good. So yesterday I was in the training class, and she was like, we gonna teach him, I think it was return. She's like, we're gonna teach him return or something, right? And my face lit up, and I was like, she was like, oh, what, we've done this before? I was like, no, I'm just excited because we need this. But yeah, so that was like my highlight of the week. I was looking forward the entire week, and so Friday we were at training, and it was a good time. But Dad, you know what else about this week is crazy?
Tell me.
Man, the news, it's been off the chain. So we all know about the coronavirus, right? You know you can get it from drinking a case of Corona, right?
No, you can get it from.
No, I'm just.
I was getting ready to say that's the first I heard of that.
I'm just joking. All right, so coronavirus been shutting things down. So schools in a lot of different districts have been closing, and then on Friday, Philadelphia announced that all of our schools will be closed for the next 2 weeks. So I know the kids are happy. I'm not, because I still got to work. Working remotely is a blessing and a curse, because even if you can't get into the office, you still got that laptop, buddy. So, get to work, earn that check. But, yeah, it's been crazy, and I think it really started to hit me how serious this was, because I wasn't one of those people kind of taking this thing lightly from the jump. But once the NBA started canceling games, and then they postponed all the games on I think Wednesday night, and I was like, yo, this is bad. I started freaking out. I had like a mini panic attack. I texted one of my coworkers. We had a partner meeting the next day. I'm like, yo, Bob, you still coming in tomorrow? Because I don't know. A lot has changed. So then, I wake up the next day because Bob, older dude, right? He texts me in the morning. What all has changed? You know what my response was? Sorry, Bob. I think I was having a little panic attack. The NBA canceled a lot of games yesterday. I didn't know what to do. I'll see you at 9. But I was freaking out. It was a.
When they did shut the game down, the NBA down, it kind of got me too. And then, like, a lot of it, I think I panicked for a moment too when they, because when they shut that down, I just thought about me having to ride the subway the next day to go to work. And all these, people, they shut down the game. And, like, all these people, like, you don't know if somebody there is going to ride on the subway. And it just got scary for a moment for me too,
Mm-hmm.
And then when you wake up the next day and they shut down Montgomery Township, this is serious now. When they going to hit down here or something like that,
Yeah, and I think, there's a lot of people out there that took this thing lightly. In talking about the NBA, you think about Rudy Gobert, who decided that after a post-game I think it was post-game press conference, to touch all the microphones and stuff. And apparently he's been very careless in the locker room, touching his teammates. Yeah, you're going to have to stop coughing, or we're going to send you up out of here, man. And touching his teammates' belongings.
Wrong pipe.
And just different things around the locker room, potentially spreading it. So we don't know if it really started with Rudy, but he obviously thought this whole thing was like a joke. And so a lot of people have been kind of blaming him for it. And it's unfortunate. He's apologized, but, since, he was the first case, then Donovan Mitchell was like the next one, and everybody loves Donovan Mitchell. So they're like, oh, no, not Don. But apparently, there's a lot of hostility in the Jazz locker room. And then, so we don't know. I think another referee has it. But the NBA had to kind of shut things down, and they'll reevaluate in 30 days. But, one of the craziest things I saw was, I think, Chris Paul walked over to a couple of the Jazz players, I think, to ask about Rudy Gobert, how he was doing. They was like, yo, just back up. Like, it's bad or something. And so they kind of knew, like, some things were going down, like people were getting sick. Then I think one coach looked ill. So NBA's taking an abundance of caution with this. And, one thing that you wanted to bring up last week was, what I thought about LeBron saying he's not playing in front of the fans.
Right.
Isn't that something you asked me about?
Right, yeah, I did ask you.
Yeah, and at the time, I was just like, when I heard him say that, I was like, man, the league, people in that back office probably like, oh, nah. Like, come on, man. Just because it's like, bro, I'm trying to help you out, make sure you not get sick. The NBA got to protect the business, though, keep that money coming in. But it's like, yo, at the end of the day, we trying to keep the league going and not shut it down. And then, later on, 2 days kind of before they decided to suspend play for the season, LeBron, kind of changed his position on it and said, he would just be disappointed if he had to play in an arena with no fans.
I mean, like when you talk about that, like just look at when you play basketball. Like I feel what LeBron was saying because like the fans are part of the game, and now when you take them out of that game, the excitement of playing in front of people, that's gonna leave. So I think that will hurt some performance in a way.
Yeah, my mom asked me about that. She was like, "Don't you think that?" Like they play for the fans, like they're gonna lose that drive. And I said, it'll be an adjustment for a lot of those guys because I mean, all their lives they have been playing in front of crowds, right?
Right.
Whereas me, I played in some pretty empty gyms in my day, right? But I said one thing that if it did come to that, them playing in empty arenas, I said that competitive drive from within of wanting to kill the guy across from you will kick in. Kind of like scrimmaging against another team, things like that. When you want to win, you want to be the best. I think that would kind of make up a little bit for, the crowd not being there. You see what I'm saying or no?
I'm still not really seeing that because, like I'm saying, like I just know for me, playing, like you know what? Take a practice. Do you play harder in practice or do you play harder in the game?
In the game, but I can't even say that. I played the same in practice and in the game.
But you know what? You can get up for more. The fans is gonna lift you a little bit more than you're gonna get in practice. It's just gonna be there because you know what? You like I understand when you say like when he said I play for them fans. Like you know what? I used to love to play on the road. Like you know what? Because like it just lifted me and make me want to play that much more better because if I can get them to cheer for me, then that's something. See now when you go there, you ain't got nobody really cheering. You ain't got nobody booing you. You ain't got nobody nothing. Like so it takes to me it's gonna take some excitement out of it because I know playing in the schoolyard, I remember playing in front of some people, but like always when you got somebody there watching.
Oh yeah, I think that definitely, propels it. But I'm saying as far as like the level of competition, like you're not just gonna let somebody go out there and score 30, right? Like that's not gonna happen on you. You're not just gonna let that happen. Is what I'm saying. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna try to answer back, right? Just off of competitive juices.
I understand and I see what you're saying, but now. Okay, no, I ain't gonna let nobody score 30.
And these games will probably still be on TV.
Well, they probably gonna still be on TV. But you know what? It's just gonna lose something because, like, you gonna say, "Well, ain't nobody here tonight." Gonna say, "Well, he crushed you." You gotta wait till tomorrow or some other time when somebody's gonna get to see that.
But
that's just for me.
Yeah, I also think like your teammates, like even if I think back to when I was in high school and stuff. Like if someone wasn't doing their job well, like you probably was gonna hear about it. Like if you letting a guy go to the basket continuously, somebody like a Steve was gonna be like, yo, you want to switch? Like you had to deal with that. So I still think guys would go out there and be able to perform. Now when the types of games where it might be a letdown is when you have those games where you have like the Lakers playing against like the Hornets. Those games I think is the games that would be trash. Because it's like there's no crowd there to kind of help. If the Lakers are on the road, you don't have the Charlotte fans trying to boost the Hornets' performance, giving them a little extra motivation. And then, the flip side of that, if the Hornets are on the road, because there's no fans there, it feels less like a road game. I think those are the games where, it would you would lose that interest and excitement. But I think if you had Lakers and Clippers or any of those top contenders, I think those guys would bring it just because of, the value of those wins and making statements.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But like I'm just saying, being and playing in front of people and them being right there,
Yeah.
boosted that much more.
Yeah, I agree.
It just boosted that much more. Like you said, I'm not gonna let nobody show me up. I don't care where they are, if nobody there. But you know what? For me, it's just like you know what? I go back to one time. I remember we played this school, and like when I was in college, and we just had these shooting shirts, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember, I said, me and this guy, we switched shirts. So every time the guy would lay the ball up or something like that, or what's called, they would always boo him. Yeah, they would boo him. They would boo him. Like, they didn't even really know me because, like, this time we didn't really have TV, exposure and all like that. They just knew my name. It wasn't that long ago.
1895. Right?
Well, whenever you want to say. But you know what? It was that's much more exciting. Now, when they call the starting five to come out, and everybody recognized that, hey, this was me, but they never knew me before.
Then did y'all switch shooting shirts back during the starting lineups, or did you still have his shooting shirt on?
No, we shot before we even came out in the gym. Like what happened was, they would like booing us when they come in, and they would saying my name and booing me, right? But they never knew who I was. So I told the guy in the locker room, I said, yo, put this shirt on.
And it had your name on the back?
Yeah, it had my name on the back.
So I'm saying, and this was during pregame warm-ups?
Yeah.
But what about when they did starting lineups? Did y'all switch shirts back?
Nah, but I don't remember what they called my name. They called my name, and that's when I had to run out. And that's when they was, it was just fun.
Yeah.
And just like I said, the fans give you more excitement, lift you more. It's just like I stopped really playing basketball when when you go to a gym and it's nobody there, you might just have 5 people in it. So it wasn't that fun for me to play basketball no more.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's because what you got used to.
Yeah.
Over time. Because I know, like, I take playing in rec leagues now, and like I told you, my high school we actually did pack the gym quite a bit. But, I think now when I go play, it's just wanting, because, in our league, they get pretty nice medals. So I think, wanting to have that last buzzer go off in a championship game and know I'm getting that medal is what brings the fire out of me. But I will say, when we have our little crew there now, too, because, like, Devin will be there. Earl's girlfriend would be there.
Right, yeah.
Coach Anton's wife would be there. Sometimes Dwayne brings his whole family. So we might have a little cheering section. But I love the games more when our opponents have their family. Because I used to like playing on the road too. Like when they got their family there and, they're clapping, this, that, and the third. And dude's over there, he might make a little play. And then he looks over there at his family or something. And I'll be like, all right. And then next thing you know, I drain the 3 and I walk back down the sideline. And now I'm glancing at his people like, yeah, in. Those are the times where I get most excited.
But you know what? When I was young coming up, in our leagues, like in the schoolyard, we would have more fans in the schoolyard than I would have in my high school home basketball game. I mean, that's how like the leagues used to be. People used to come out to watch games. Like, and that was the thing that really make you really want to play. Mm-hmm. We didn't like now. Like I'm saying, like some pickup games, like you would just name, it's like a few people there and stuff like that. Like I'd rather not play. I just really not. Like I liked it when the schoolyard be packed. I remember people climbing on the fence and wanting to, get a view of it because the schoolyard be that packed.
Yeah, so got to move on a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Dwayne Wade and how he you didn't even give the backstory?
Yeah.
Well, I'll give everybody the backstory. So, NBA, Dwayne Wade does like a sports analyst for TNT. So he was on Players Only the other night, and his son goes to the same high school as LeBron's son, Sierra Cannon, and they are going to the state championship. So a kid hit the game winner, and it was a big thing. So of course they highlighted it on TNT, and they asked Dwayne Wade will he be at the championship game. I think it was on like Friday, and he was like, "Nope," like it was an emphatic no, and he was like, "Not playing my son, so I'm not gonna be there because I don't want to do something to the coach or something, something to that effect, right?" So of course it got noticed because it's Dwayne Wade on national television,
Right,
and the
right.
people he was sitting alongside of, they were just at the table like, "Ouch!" And like Candace Parker was just like on national television, like sending a message, and so that coach kind of fired back and said Dwayne Wade is like a stage dad and all this. So who knows? I don't really get to watch their games. I haven't really seen,
Right.
his son ball in comparison to the guys that are playing ahead of him. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, like I said, I would really have to see if he deserved the time. Or do you want him to play just because I'm the Wade? I want my son to play. I would really have to reevaluate that.
Yeah, so if I was playing for one of your homies, right? If I was playing in the city and you knew the coach, because you're a little legend in the city, right? If they wasn't playing with me, would you try to work that clout?
I don't really think so.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't think so either.
if you deserve to play, then I do that. But you know what? I'm just gonna support you on whatever way it is.
Mm-hmm.
On air. I'm not gonna tell him that. Like I wouldn't want nobody to come tell me, "Oh, you got to play my son because I'm
Yeah,
such
right.
and such." No.
How about this? Because I used to play for you. Imagine if there was another guard, right, that was better than me. Would you play me ahead of him?
No, no. I wouldn't play you if you're not better than him. You know what? Like even when you saying that, remember that year when we won the championship when you were playing for me, and they came and asked me, they wanted to vote and asked me to vote for who's gonna be the MVP, and I told them I can't do it. I knew you deserved it, but I can't vote. I couldn't vote because like now, you know what? It's like I couldn't vote
Yeah,
because
you felt like you were biased.
right, and I mean like you deserved it and all that, but I didn't think that it was my place to really vote for that.
Yeah, I don't think you would do that. I have played in places where like the coach's son probably shouldn't have been playing at certain points, or maybe should have been like off the ball a little bit more.
Right.
And yeah, that used to get interesting because we had some strong personalities on that team, and they would let the coach know. And so that used to be, I just kind of went with it. I was kind of that guy. But then we had guys telling the coach like, "No, you need to take your son out, or you'll make him go put him in the corner or something like that." Meanwhile, we're all like 12, 13 at this time, talking to a grown man. So that used to be crazy. But yeah, so I don't know, for Dwayne Wade,
Yeah,
I don't know how
like
good
that.
his son actually is.
Now you remember Claude Gross, right?
Yeah.
His son played Sonny Hill with us. He didn't start. He was a player. He knew how to play the game, but he didn't play his son no favor, and that's why I never did favor with you when you played for me, cause I watched them. Claude Gross is Will Chamberlain brother-in-law, and like I'm just saying, like them guys that I learned from. So when you did play for me, I just took from them because I think they was great. Claude was a good coach. T. Shell's a good coach. It's just a bunch of good coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put my name up in that category of a good coach. No.
No, you know what? you working on it?
Yeah.
I think that you did a good job, and I think that you did a good job and teaching the game too. So it's all about educating them.
Yeah, I can get out there on the floor with you and teach you a thing or two as well. But yeah, we're gonna keep this thing moving. So yeah, NCAA also canceled their tournament. They had to shut it down, and they were holding out. They were trying not to do it. But eventually, they finally was like, "Hey, we're canceling all conference tournaments and the big tournament." So, one thing that coronavirus and then everything that went on with the NBA and NCAA kind of overshadowed a pretty big story here in the city this past week. So in Chester, which outside of Philly, but no, not far. There was a quadruple shooting, all right? So there were two 15-year-old boys that were shot and killed. Two other boys were wounded. And this was on March 10th, so this past week. So the two kids that ended up dying, they actually died at the scene. And, two of the victims, one that died and one that, was injured, they played for Chester's basketball team, who had a game the next day. And, they were playing at the playground. Apparently someone either ran up or did like a drive-by shooting. And, they still played the game in their honor, right?
Right.
But, Chester actually won. So I was watching. It was funny because I meant to follow up on this, but I was on Facebook. Somebody had it on Facebook Live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gratz went up by, I think, it was a tie game. They was on the free throw line. They hit one of two from the line. So they went up 1 or 2 points.
Right.
And then you see Chester with like 4 seconds left pushing the ball up the floor, and the cameraman was terrible, whoever was on the camera. So the camera never panned down to the other end of the floor. All you see is they push it, and then buzzer kind of goes off,
and the shot goes
and everybody storms the floor. So you're like, yo, was it a miss? Like, who's storming the floor here? Saw a different angle of it this morning, actually. And I was like, wait, Chester won. So, yeah, somebody hit a running game winner.
Yeah, I seen them running.
To win it.
Yeah, I did see that.
So they won it in their boy's honor. But, something that gets overlooked is how, we kind of become somewhat desensitized to murders in the city, especially when it's our youth being murdered. That to still have these boys go out there and play, like, that has to be tough. Like, you look at how NBA players were when, Kobe passed, right? That weighs heavily on your heart. So just imagine somebody who you're in the gym with day in and day out gets tragically killed, along with another one of your teammates who's injured. And they might have known the other two kids as well, right?
Right,
and, you're asking these boys to go out there and still compete. That's tough. So, it's definitely something we got to look at from a lot of different angles. One, do we take mental health seriously? And I would say in the black community, a lot of times we don't. It's something that a lot of people kind of overlooked or say, oh, no, you just need to toughen up, or it's not that bad, or it's just life. Like, if you depressed, just go do. You kind of downplay a lot of these things. And I think that's something that needs to change quite a bit.
I always told you the story. Like, my mom didn't die tragically. My mom passed away. But remember I told you about that? Mm-hmm. When we had the game, we were going to play WDS All-Stars. Dr. J was supposed to play. I did get to play against Grover Washington. And, like, it was like, when I went to the hospital and, like, I lost it, crying, everything, hitting walls and all like that. And then when I go back home, my great grandma would tell me, you can't go play basketball today. And, like, I was hurting, I was grieving and all like that. But you know what? I was going to play basketball.
Yeah, because it can't help. Basketball can be a great, powerful outlet.
Because what did I say? What I said to myself was, what would my mother want me to do right now? And that's how I justified it. My mother would want me to go out and play basketball. My mother, would be for me to do that. So, like, I'm saying, like, I don't, like, when you lose somebody or something like that, but basketball can be that outlet.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely help take your mind off of it, or, I guess when you use the game to play in someone's honor, it can help you feel a little bit better. I just hope that they have kind of the support in place to help those young boys with their grieving process, because that's tough. And you never know how many, you read articles, and there was a quote in there with someone saying, it's sad, but, this is kind of the norm for that community. And that's something that we really need to find a way to change.
It is like, cause like, you know, it's funny because like you say that because I was just thinking about, you know, the shooting that you sent me the video of, you know,
Oh,
like
21st and
on
Carpenter.
21st and Carpenter, like in broad daylight.
Yeah, it
You
looked
know,
like a movie.
people running. But you know what? What's so funny is, you know, this been happening for so long. You know, like I remember when I was a kid, I'm sitting on Elder Street, like, and we used to be a house. They have a shootout every week. And I mean, one day I'm sitting out there like I'm watching TV, and my mom on the street running the house. But like it was just like that. But it's a shame, like when you realize because innocent people, you
Yep.
know, innocent people get hurt. Little kids like get hit by bullets. It's just a disgrace, man. Like it's just something.
Yeah. And, you know, this story also made me think back to, so when I was in high school, we lost a kid, Nasir Westbrook, to gun violence. And, you know, I wasn't close with him, but a lot of people were. And I just remember seeing how impacted they were. Like, you know, the next day in school, everybody was crying. We didn't even do any lessons, I don't think. It was just a tough day for a lot of people, but, you know, this kid actually made the basketball team. He didn't end up, you know, coming back to practices or anything for, I don't know why. So I still felt some type of way because I just was like, you know, maybe if he was on the team, he wouldn't have been out there. You know, maybe he would have been traveling home from practice or, you know, inside eating, you know. So you kind of go down that road. But, you know, I couldn't imagine if I lost, you know, if he was a teammate and we did build that relationship, how I would have felt.
You know, even for the guy Edward Harmon that got killed, you know, I felt for him because you know what, it was nothing bad said about him, and he was an honor roll student. So you know, this is a life that got taken. Like I don't know what all really went down.
Yeah,
but you know what, it was some good things, and you know what, he was doing some things positive and right. You know, like with his grades and all like that, and going to school, and people said how he was in the community. So, I mean, that touched me just like that. And for him to go, that's what really hurts like that.
Yeah, and I think it also highlights the fact that we have to, you know, we always have to kind of be cognizant of who we associate with. And also it's like, if I was watching the Aaron Hernandez documentary
Right.
on Netflix about his whole life. And one thing that stood out to me was one of the guys who was friends with, or, you know, semi-pro teammates with the guy he killed.
Right.
He said something about, if you were involved with that semi-pro team, they were all close. It was like a family. And he said one thing for sure is if he kind of knew what was going on the other side of people's lives, like if you were involved in some of the wrong things that can really pull you down, they weren't going to let that happen. Because he said either you're on this side of the fence or you're on the other side of the fence. At one point, there's going to come a point in time where, you know, you're called to be on both sides. And he said you can't split yourself in half. So you either are on the right path or the wrong path. And that just made me think about how many times we kind of see young kids who, you know, they have a lot of good going for them. Like they're getting good grades, they're involved in the community, they're participating in sports. But it might just be that one thing. Like you might just have that one friend that's caught up in the wrong things that kind of can pull you a certain way or get into that wrong altercation where, you know, a lot of times it's just, even though your pride gets involved, sometimes when someone wants to be confrontational, don't engage in it. You know, sometimes you might just got to keep it moving, keep it walking. Or, you know, one thing that I try to do when I get the opportunity, I try to talk to kids a little bit more. Like, even if they're just, like, walking, I might just be, you know, even if it's just, what's up, young fella, how you doing? Or, you know, no problem, you're welcome, you know, have a good day or something like that. Like, yo, be the best you can be today. Little things, even if it's like, they're like, yo, why is he saying that? Like, weirdo, just because you don't know who might need to hear that, who never hears things like that. You just never know. So I feel like it's a chance I'm willing to take. Because think about it. When you drive through the hood, right, how do people look?
How they look?
Yeah.
What you mean, people in the hood?
Yeah, when you walking down the street. Because I'm going to tell you, I always felt like you had to look a little mean so people didn't mess with you. Like, you got to have on that, kind of like your mean mug, looking tough, face slightly scrunched up, things like that. And what does that do?
I got something to tell you after this. This really making me kind of laugh at the time.
Like, what does that do, though? It makes everybody feel like they got to put up this tough guy facade, right?
Yeah.
And what does that lead to? Conflict, right? Like, just think about it. You pull up to the corner and people kind of eyeing you up, right? And suppose I'm the type of person that's going to eye you up back. Next thing you know, somebody say something and things escalate. Right. We need more love in the hood. Like, we need more people to be like, yo, how you doing?
You know what? It's funny. When I walk down the streets, sometimes, even down your neighbor down 7th Street, I walk by there, and guys be out there hustling, right? And they always, what's up? You good? You good? Like that? And like one day I said, let me ask you a question. I had to stop that one guy and I said, let me ask you a question. Do I look like I really get high? I said, I'm not trying to start them, but I had to ask because I did get high at one time. I've been clean for 13 years. Do I still look like I want to buy something? And he said, no, I just speak to everybody. He said, speak to everybody. But he wasn't just speaking to me. He was asking me did I want something. So, I get tired of all the time people, when I walk down there or something like that, asking me, am I looking for something? I ain't looking for nothing. But I just had to know. And I just said, I just had to know. If, do I look like I'm still out here or like that? Mm-hmm. And I just thought it funny. And like every time I see him now, we always speak. And I mean, he really greets me and stuff now, know. But I ain't want to go off on the wrong way with him. But I'm just tired of guys, when you walk through a neighborhood, they always asking, do you want something? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I guess shifting gears a little bit, another thing that kind of caught my eye that was a bit of a sad story was the shooting that happened at the LA Fitness a couple weeks ago. So quick recap. Young brother, Alan Womack Jr., 28 years old, was killed Friday night after him and another guy had an altercation happen inside the gym. They got into an argument on the court. Then it went outside to the parking lot. They both were licensed to carry, pulled out guns, both fired at each other. Womack was struck and killed at the scene. So this was something that really, I guess, was kind of hard for me to accept a little bit, just because, like earlier, even in terms of when someone else dies, it highlights the fact that basketball can be used as an outlet, right? It can be a place where, it's almost like your sanctuary. It can wipe all the pain away at times. No matter where the stress is coming from, it can do a lot for you. It should be a place where you go to bond with others, compete for your whatever, drives you to be out there, a place to just have fun, right? So even when you get into a heated battle, it shouldn't be more than a battle on the court. Like, you never want to see a game of basketball result in someone losing their life, especially the gun violence or any type of violence.
When we started to talk about this story, things took me way back. I remember a time when we used to go play at the Y, pick up games nights. And I remember two cousins, actually this night, I probably left the gym early. I think I left the gym early. And two cousins got into an argument. And, over a basketball game. Now, this was definitely over a basketball game. And, I mean, they were kind of close. And one killed the other. And when I heard that, man, it was just something, man. Because, we know, even in basketball, it left on the court. A guy taught me, one time, and one of my friends, and he's still a friend of mine now, he taught me, I remember one game, he elbowed a dude, and he apologized to the dude and told him it was meant for me. You know, but you know, when we got off the court, like I mean, we was close friends. It's just something like you say. You know, it's just like why just go outside. Now, you know, you had time to cool down. You know, take a shower, do whatever you did after you got finished that, and let it stay on the court. You know, to go outside and to be shooting at each other. You know, it's just something. And these people that you allow to carry guns.
Yeah. And you know, this guy was a college graduate. He played ball in college.
Right, yeah.
He actually went to math, civics, and science, which is a big high school here in the city.
Right.
Especially for the basketball program. So it's just sad to see kind of lives lost like that. And, you know, I'll tell you a big reason I stopped playing at, like, playgrounds. One, my knees, like concrete and knees don't go well together in terms of playing basketball. But one reason I stopped kind of playing pickup at random places is because of the conflicts that always kind of happen. You got people that want to argue over foul calls, borderline fight. They want to threaten you, or they want to kind of play a little dirty. Or, you know, one time, you want to know what really did it for me? There's this one kid at the playground, and he wasn't really that good. But he would just try to play you physical and hack you and set these screens. So, you know, this probably was like my freshman year in high school. And he went to set a screen. And, you know, I was kind of taught that, you know, if you when I fight through it, I'm going to make sure that I fight through it hard. Because I don't want you setting screens. I want you to be like, yo, I don't want to set a screen on him again.
Right.
Because I'm going to pit, if you get in position, I'm putting his shoulder in your chest. Like, you're going to pay for setting the screen. And, you know, I think after I went to fight through it, because I gave him a nice little dip, and he kind of wanted to fight. And I'm like, dude, you setting all these dirty picks. Like, you getting back what you're giving. And, you know, kind of after that, I'm just like, I'm not for it just because I don't go out there to play to end up fist fighting. And a lot of times today, people don't fight. You know,
right? Yeah, that's totally right.
Like, people shoot today.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really have time for that. I would much rather play in an environment where, you know, it's a little bit more controlled
and organized.
Organized.
Really organized. Yeah.
And with people that I know are on the same wavelength.
Right.
Like, you know, now when I go ball, I'm just trying to make sure I'm good enough. I'm just trying not to get hurt so I can make it into work the next day. That's like the goal. Just get that nice little sweat in. But, you know, some people today, you know, they're just, it's almost like, you know, it's like you crazy if you think I'm going to fight you over this game. Like, this game doesn't mean that much to me. Like, we can talk smack, and, I mean, trash talk can get crazy, right? But it's not going to get to the point where I really feel like I want to fight you. At the end of the day, I'll, like, just walk away. It's not that serious. Like, think about what you came out there to do. Think about why you play basketball. You don't go to the basketball court to box, right? So don't let that be the reason you have to leave the basketball court.
Right, you definitely right, and that's the only thing is like when you said playing basketball. I remember that was one of the reasons why I wouldn't play at certain places, you know, or play certain because, like, you know what, like you said, if people's not on that, it's not near the ball. If you're not really there, the ball. Like when I talk about the schoolyard. I talk about schoolyard where I came up at. Like I, you know, always gonna shout Lange about because that was one of the schoolyards that I don't care where you at in the city. Everybody came there to play.
Yes,
it's
legendary.
Certain places that you didn't have to worry about that. Now we're not gonna say a fight never broke out and stuff like that. You know, fights did, but you know what? Ain't nobody kill nobody over that. You know.
Things happen.
Yeah.
You know, at times, and you know, you hope guys at the most throw a couple punches and get broken up, and it's like, all right, that's it. You don't want to see people go to the glove box or pop the trunk. You don't want to see that.
No.
It's just not worth it. So, you know, my message is let basketball be your sanctuary. Even in a heated battle, just kind of know when to leave it on the floor, and when that competitiveness kind of reaches its max, just kind of leave it there. Leave it there. Remember why you went to the court in the first place.
Yeah, you know, get buckets, right?
I went to drop dimes.
Oh, that's what you
JK, I go out there to get. I keep it real, right? I go out there to get buckets.
Oh, okay.
But if it ain't my day, I might have to play the facilitator sometimes, or I might gotta go be Gary Payton. You know, it all depends. Swiss Army knife. But Yeah, man, we gotta get ready to bounce. Tell the people how to stay safe from Corona, Dad.
First of all, get your bar soap. Start washing your hands. Don't touch your face.
Yeah, get that antibacterial soap. Wash your face with wash your hands with hot water. Don't touch your face. And also, get immune boosting vitamins. Elderberry is a good kind of natural. I don't even know if you call it a vitamin, but it's like an immune booster that you can take. Take some airborne. Do what you got to do to strengthen your immune system. Get decent sleep. Drink, hot tea, hot beverages. Because what happens is if, let's say, virus is on your hands and you touch your face, right, and it gets to your mouth, it can go down the wrong way. But if you actually wash it down, even if you sip some water, if you wash it down, get that thing down to your stomach acids will kill it. So there's a lot of different things you can do. I think luckily here, what they've been finding is a lot of the cases have been mild cases. And, when you hear about the deaths, a lot of times it's people who are older and have already had other health complications going on. So let's try to be as healthy as we can be. I know this is the most I've ever taken immune boosting vitamins and things on a daily basis. So definitely something I'm not taking lightly because I don't want to have to deal with this. If you want to kind of self-diagnose yourself early on, see if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds. I might have to post some of the information that I received on the social media pages just share with everyone. But do your research, figure out, some good things you can do. But at the end of the day, let's make sure you're keeping your hands clean, right? Disinfecting the things you come in contact with, and especially your phones. Our phones are disgusting. So do what we got to do. Like some small, simple tips can go a long way in defeating coronavirus. So, I'm a little sad. I feel like today was short.
It went quick.
Went by so fast.
It might be because it was a good show, I guess.
Yeah.
Because time really flew.
I know, man, but you know what that means. It's time for me to get some food.
Well, like I always say, have a blessed week, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, peace. Oh, wait. We forgot something. You
kind of said it in the beginning.
I know, but I always like to say it again.
Well, go ahead.
Because all I do is win. No matter. Sorry, I've been trying to freestyle a little bit lately too much. All right, but thank y'all as always for tuning in. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, flip down a little bit, hit that like button that's somewhere down there. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's important, people. If you're listening on one of your mobile phone's podcast app, remember, leave us a 5-star review. And also, share the show with a friend. You can hit that little button that looks like a rectangle with the arrow. Click that and then share it. I don't care if you send the episode, copy the link. Do what you got to do, but share with some folks. And now, Dad.
What's that?
Oh, you can sign us out. I'm not going to ask you to go through the list.
I said we'll see you next week, man.
Yeah, I know, but we had to go back because you remember the...
Okay, we're going to say, like I said, have a blessed week. And we're looking forward to you tuning in next week.
Why you get so aggressive with it?
And when he say share with a friend, we got to pearl that. Friends.
Oh.
We got to keep that right.
All right, I got you. All right, y'all. See y'all same time, same place next week. Peace.